Ambassador, what's your memory of the man that a lot of people fondly called Madiba?
Only good memories. You know, what used to struck me was that he never forgot. You know, at his age, I mean, when he was released from jail, he was already at an advanced age. But he wouldn't forget. He would meet you today at a function or wherever, and you would have a chat with him. And you meet again after 5 years or so. He will still remember you. He will say, hey, so, what happened to what we were talking about last time? So he didn't forget people. He wouldn't even forget what we were talking about. After serving 27 years in prison. So that, and again, as the Deputy Minister was saying, that forgiving and forgetting, that reconciliation spirit that he came up with and introduced it to all South Africans. In the early 90s, after the ANC was unbanned, and all, not only ANC, but all political organizations were unbanned, there were other forces within the country that were not supportive of what de Klerk has done, and that now Mandela is free. Therefore, there was such a lot of fighting in the country. There was, you could see that civil war is in the making. But Nelson Mandela was the only one who could stop any bloodshed that could take place in South Africa. And people listened to him. Our people, as the Deputy Minister was saying, were very angry. We're very angry at the apartheid years that we lived under. People who have read apartheid and didn't live apartheid might not know it. Even our children, we are talking about our children now, that even those who were born during apartheid, they hadn't really lived apartheid. And now the people who have lived apartheid will definitely be disappointed that somebody is coming and preaching a reconciliation. They were really angry. But they could listen to Madiba. And very funny, the other side too, which we call the third force, which was really sowing bad blood into the people. There were massacres here and there, you know, there were bombs thrown, petrol bombs thrown in. And we would always think, and somebody else would sell this notion that there is black on black violence engineered by blacks. But there was a third force behind that. And Nelson Mandela knew that there was this third force behind this. That is why he could stand up and say, no, this must stop. I remember also during the death, after the death of Chris Hani, the blacks went wild. Not so that the Chris Hani was killed by a white person who was not even a South African, being bought by a South African white. To do that, it made people mad. But Nelson Mandela towered above all and said, stop this violence. He continued to preach consistently reconciliation, forgiveness, So one cannot forget that. We are where we are today because of him.
Now, what was it that made Mandela such a powerful figure that blacks, whites were prepared to listen to him? When he said stop, everyone stopped. What was it?
When he got out of jail, he said South Africa belongs to all who lives in it. Black, white, colored, or Indians. It belongs to them. So for a person who says that, everybody is bound to listen to. A person who gets out of jail and preach reconciliation after he had suffered like that. So whether you are black or white, you are bound to listen to that person. Because indeed, he was telling the truth when he says South Africa belongs to all who lives in it. And we all knew that. And it was the first time, okay, apart from the fact that our Freedom Charter states it clearly. The Freedom Charter was drafted before Nelson Mandela went to jail. So meaning that Nelson Mandela was part and parcel of the drafting of that Freedom Charter. And he continued preaching what is on the Freedom Charter. South Africa belongs to all who lives in it. At the time of his incarceration, the white South Africa didn't believe in that because they looked at it from another angle. If we say South Africa belongs to all those who live in it, it means that even these blacks belong here, and they could not take that. So they then incarcerated him. But he comes out of jail, he still sings
the same tune.
Yes. So it means now that it is in their favor too. So that's why everybody else would listen to him. And I mean, even today, I think all of them, not only the blacks, are sad. The whites are very sad that they have lost Nelson Mandela.